Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 11 of Ultimate Exotics, the review series for the top tier supercars of GT6. And in this episode we're featuring a widely loved and hugely popular supercar in the world of Gran Turismo 6. It is the Lamborghini Aventador. Now this car is a pretty capable all-round supercar, and that's a good thing because at the end of the day, in its purest form, this car's purpose was to replace Lamborghini's flagship model, which of course was the Murcielago. So this car had quite a lot on its plate because the Murcielago in its various forms, from the original to the LP640 to the LP670 SV, etc., was a successful racing model and a fantastic road car. So the Aventador had big boots to fill. Does it do that? Well, on paper, definitely yes. It ticks all the right boxes. The engine is bigger, it produces more power, it's more aggressive and angular visually. The performance increase is definitely there, both in acceleration and top speed, and it really just ups the ante in every way compared to the LP640, LP670, etc. But obviously that's in real life. And on Gran Turismo you can take the specs of the car far beyond what most people would in real life. So how does it fare against its rivals and against the car that it replaced in that regard? Well, it fares really well actually, because the engine, despite being naturally aspirated, which is great for a supercar but can be a disadvantage when you're going up against turbocharged and supercharged rivals in a straight line, still produces 956 horsepower even without said turbos or supercharging. So imagine the kind of power that this could produce if we were able to convert its aspiration on GT6. Hopefully that's something that they'll add in the future, because you could make this car into even more of a monster than it already is. Now that said, with its 956 horsepower and 631 pound-feet of torque, which is incidentally packed into a car which weighs less than you might expect, because Lamborghinis in general are reasonably heavy supercars. They're generally around 1500, 1600 kilos. With the full weight loss package, this car only weighs 1260 kilos. So it's not the lightest of supercars, but for a big supercar with a large engine and an all-wheel drive system, that's a very respectable weight. And thanks to that weight, combined with its high power output, it does produce a very respectable 759 horsepower per tonne. Now the handling does have, or can have, that traditional Lamborghini bite if you overcook it in the corners. There's definitely that sharpness and aggressiveness there, but overall the handling is much more technical and sharp and more focused than any Lamborghini flagship that has preceded this car. Now whether or not that's a good thing will probably depend on what kind of Lamborghini fan you are. There are three types mainly. There's people who don't care either way. There's people who perhaps prefer the old way of Lamborghini, very raw, very hairy driving style, really all down to the driver. And there are people who like the new method, the more Audi-ish types of Lamborghini, with the technical prowess, the increase in engineering behind them, more thought put into them rather than just crazy straight line machines like cars like the Diablo used to be. Personally, I think there's room for a bit of both, but of the two camps, I am more in the former. I do prefer cars which are more raw and driver oriented, which is why I'm a fan of cars like the Chazetta and the Zonda. Now that said, the Aventador is certainly a very engaging car to drive. The performance is very strong. Top speed is around 280 even without NOS or slipstream. The acceleration off the line thanks to the all-wheel drive is up there with the best of them. In a quarter mile it will keep up with most other supercars, even cars with significantly more power in some cases. Top speed wise, although it's definitely not slow, it does fall behind some of its rivals such as the Enzo and the Huayra. But at the same time, it costs a lot less than those cars at 400,000 credits. It's actually really well priced at that level. And the PP as well is very competitive at 648, at which it is a very, very capable machine. So overall, I think most people already know that the Aventador is a good all-round supercar. Personally, I don't like the Aventador as much as the Murcielago, but it is certainly a worthy flagship, really, for the Lamborghini brand, and does the name justice. So, if you're looking for a capable all-round supercar that's perhaps more inclined towards handling and track potential rather than just ballistic straight-line performance, then the Aventador is certainly worthy of your consideration. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.